3 ways that you can get to know people better. And I'm going to run them through fairly quickly with you. You can choose your favorite. You can start using the one you never use, whatever. But 3 ways to get to know people better. These are fabulous for leaders. They get to know people on their team who, by the way, don't really want to get to know you better. It's almost like a cat and mouse game. Here you are going to be trying to get to know you better and improve the. You're trying to get them to know better, get to know them better, and improve the relationship. And they don't want you to improve the relationship. They're not interested in it. This is fascinating dynamic. So the first way to get to know people is this idea of brain dominance theory. It was discovered by Roger Sperry back in the 70s. Some psychology people say this is old stuff, but I think there's something to it still. Very simply, there are 2 types of people in the world, left brain people and right brain people. Now the first thing some of you are going to say is, I'm both, and I'm okay with that. But just consider the concept. Left brain people, right brain people. To do this in your notes, just do a simple T-chart. You know what a T-chart is? Looks like a T. On the left side of the T-chart, left brain. On the right side of the T-chart, right brain. Left brain people tend to be linear. They tend to be rationally based. And they tend to be men. Let's review. Rationally based, men. Yeah, Right brain people, on the other hand, tend to be touchy-feely in nature. They tend to be emotionally based, and they tend to be female. Not better, not worse, just different. Just keep it simple for now. Yeah, it's more complicated than this. Just keep it simple for now. 2 types of people, left brain and right brain. Do you think it's in your best interest to figure out which person you are? Do you think it's in your best interest to figure out which person you're talking to? Would that be helpful to you? By the way, they're sending you clues about who they are based on how they're dressed, mannerisms, word choice, expressions, all of it. Raise your hand if you're an engineer. An engineer friend over here. Engineers think differently than florists. Can you get behind that? You might argue, a floral arrangement has some engineering to it. I'm okay with that. Life is interesting. But right brain people are different from left brain people, and it helps to find out which one you're talking to. Technique number 2. This one's called personality assessment. Because we live in a highly sensitive society now, this has become kind of a bad thing. How dare you assess my personality? How many of you do personality assessments or personality evaluations, another negative connotation, at your place of work when you hire people? Raise your hand. It's a very popular thing, maybe not in Alabama. The reason we do this when we hire is because we want to know who we're hiring. It turns out that you could argue that some people fib during the interview process, but you could also argue that some people don't know themselves very well. And so they're trying to answer your question honestly, but they don't actually know themselves. And so you're getting fake information at the interview, and then you hire them. 90 days later, they're vested, and now you can't get rid of them. And that's your corporate culture. I see some heads nodding. This is how it works. We know what to do, but we don't do it. Seems to me the best thing to do would be to find out exactly who you're talking to, and then you can hire the exact right person for the job. My favorite personality assessment involves only 4 personalities. Some of you will say, yes, but Michael, there's 32 personalities. Of course there are. Let's talk about 4 of them during our brief time today. I'm working with Dr. Tony Alessandra's research right now. And Alessandra creates a 4-quadrant grid. Do it in your notes right now. 4 quadrants. Upper left quadrant is relator. So 4 quadrants. Upper left quadrant is relator. Upper right quadrant is socializer. Lower left quadrant is thinker. Lower right quadrant is director. The 4 quadrants. Relator, socializer, thinker, director. Each of the styles has a yin and a yang, a plus and a minus. Let's run them through quickly. When we do this, you'll be able to identify yourselves in just a minute. Thinkers have a plus and a minus, a backhand and a forehand, if you will. Relators, upper left. Relators are people. They build bridges. You see that about relators, right? The downside to being a relator, they don't like conflict. They will do anything not to give people bad news. Some of you are relators in the room. I feel you. Upper right corner, thinkers, the plus. High threshold for analytical processing. Socializer, upper right, thank you. Socializers, upper right. Socializers love to have fun. They find humor in everything. All the people in hospitals, it's called hospital humor, or dark humor sometimes. It's fun, they just find a way to make it fun. There are people in this room that came, I'm only going to come if this guy looks fun. Let's check him out. Otherwise, it's useless to me, right? And so I'm here for you because I'm a socializer. That's the plus. Minus, socializers can be glib. They have problems with self-editing. And sometimes people don't take them seriously because they're always joking around. Lower left corner, thinkers. High threshold for analytical processing. Can't get enough information, can't get enough data. That's all a plus. Best decision makers on your team, thinkers. The downside to being a thinker, it takes them forever to make a decision because they can't get enough data. Finally, directors, the only style with the name of their personality on their business card. Directors. Directors have a plus and a minus as well. Directors love two things American businesses covet: efficiency and productivity. Directors are all about efficiency and productivity. The downside, they get those two things at the expense of their greatest resource. Who's their greatest resource? Their team, their people. And the team and the people think the directors are cold, rude, indifferent, and they feel like they're not valued. Sometimes. And those are the four personalities.